Why did nobody warn me? Nobody told me. Not a single heads up. I just ran into this thing completely blind. And that's what happens? Brought to you by the creator of Kaguya-sama. Oshi no Ko is a series that is currently at 115 chapters, if I'm not mistaken. And it's one that I had been recommended over a year ago. And I had checked it out originally, and ironically, I got like 6-7 chapters in. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't really for me. I'll pick it up some other time. I'm gonna go read something else. And I was very wrong to do that. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. And recently, with the anime coming out and everybody talking about it, I was hearing about this massive twist, and I kept seeing the same image over and over and over again. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't reach that part yet. So luckily, I avoided the massive spoiler, and I went to read what actually happened, and I literally dropped it a chapter before the massive twist and reveal, and I'll get into that in a little bit. There are 3 characters that are important to the story. Ai, who's the popular idol that the story begins us with the introduction, that everyone seems to be a fan of, who would be the most important character in the story moving forward, being Goru, who is essentially, I think it's pronounced Abjin, pretty much just the doctor who helps delivering children, and his patient, Serena, who is currently on the verge of dying. And this story from the get-go really does try and pull on the heartstrings. I think this is far more serious, although it has some comedic moments in comparison to Kaguya-sama. I felt like this one from the jump, just emotionally, was pretty heavy-hitting. And the first twist comes when Ai goes to the hospital and she's about to deliver twins. However, throughout that procedure, the doctor ends up being killed by someone, and he ends up reincarnating as one of her children, the boy who she names Aquamarine, or we just call him Aqua from now on. And his twin sister Ruby, although not told to us instantly, one could instantly deduce that that was Serena, who'd been reincarnated into that baby. So this is where I thought this was going. These 2 kids who reincarnated as the children of the idol that they both are massive fans of, and we were going to enter a bit of a slice of life comedy. Given that that was the nature of Kaguya-sama, I assumed that the author was wanting to do something similar again. And the story did an amazing job of selling that, be it that usually whenever a certain fundamental twist to the story happens, it happens within the first few chapters. The first 5, if you will, at least from what I'm used to. And there are, of course, exceptions to this, but man, this story really sold you on it, considering the fact that you already had the death of Serena as well as the doctor, and so they're already reincarnated. All right, we're good to go from here on out. And yet that's not the case whatsoever. And within these first 8 chapters within this prologue, which is what episode 1 covered, it did also a really good job of making me sympathetic towards Ai's character and addressing sort of the strange dynamic of being well known and the lies, quote-unquote, that comes with that. And stories do this. They'll give you a character and make you like them as much as possible and give them all these positive personality traits, which is exactly what was done with Ai. And I think it worked out amazingly. And so here we are, these 2 reincarnated people now as these children who are going to grow up and take over the entertainment industry and help push their mother further into success and live happily and have all these crazy comedic moments. And then the twist and the reveals will happen that they were reincarnated and she'll love them anyways because she's their mother and blah, 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 right? No. And if you haven't clicked off at this point, don't you dare complain about spoilers. She dies! She gets... Okay. All right. So the guy who killed the doctor, right? This stalker. He shows up at her doorstep, stabs her in the stomach, kills her, and in her final moments, she's able to say that she truly loves her children. And so this isn't some happy slice of life story. This is a revenge story, where the doctor, who's now as Aqua, is going to do everything he can to bring to justice the people who were behind it. And I also think it was incredibly smart to take that move to make an incredibly long episode and fit the whole prologue in there, because it would get people extremely interested in talking about it. Like, okay, it's this long, what's it going to be about? And for it to have that level of twist, and again, now for everyone to be talking about it, well, it worked perfectly. And it was really impressive to see the growth of some of the characters and some of the things that were being laid out from the beginning, to where, again, it just made you totally believe that this was going to be the long-term situations. And yet, for that to be completely taken away from us as the audience, and for the story to be flipped in terms of what the actual point of it is, was Well done. Well done. I was completely wrong. I dropped it a chapter before the whole twist happened. Why? Why did I? Why? I stood up for Tokyo Revengers and I dropped this. I just can't get a break. I was so wrong. I was just like, bro, this idol stuff, acting, entertainment. I was like, what do I look like reading this? I've been reading the manga since then, by the way, after the prologue, and it's still great. It's still great. After the twist, then you really get invested into the characters and following him and sort of the relationship he develops now with his sister and his overprotectiveness at first, and seeing how all of this translated as it goes further on and some of the mysteries to be revealed. Like, it's definitely worth checking out. Again, my apologies to all of y'all that were recommending me it, because y'all just told me, like, oh yeah, it's just the normal slice of life. After a couple chapters, I believed it. So yeah, nah, just make sure to check it out. If you haven't seen the anime, watch that first episode. It's long, but it's totally worth it. And read the manga. Read the manga, catch up. I legitimately think up to this point where I've been reading, I think this series is just as good as Kaguya-sama, although for different reasons. So if you loved Kaguya-sama, I think you'll also love this, but again, for varying reasons, although there are some similarities with certain comedic moments here and there. But as always, this has been The Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.